So as of a couple weeks ago, it has officially been 5 years since I started lifting weights. So I thought it'd be a cool video to kind of look back at where I started, how far I've come, just walk through that journey, give you guys kind of an idea of what I've done over the past 5 years to get to where I am now from where I started, because who doesn't love those kind of transformation videos, that kind of story. Hopefully it'll inspire someone out there, motivate some people to get in the gym, work hard. Let's do it. I guess I officially started lifting weights the summer before my freshman year of high school, but before then, during 8th grade, I actually started kind of getting into fitness by doing Mike Chang's six-pack shortcut videos. I kid you not, those old videos where he'd be in that like office space doing body weight stuff. I used to watch those, do those like 10-minute extreme ripped shredded body challenge workouts. I used to do those all the time. So that was really my first taste of fitness, doing those, you know, a couple times a week, no equipment or anything. However, I did also have this pair of, I have them right here, this pair of 5-pound dumbbells that I used to, like, every so often I just sit in my room and I just pump out reps, like hundreds of reps with just these 5-pound dumbbells, getting a bicep pump. And that's kind of how I started getting into it in 8th grade. And then that summer, before my freshman year of high school, I had the opportunity to do kind of a strength and conditioning camp at the high school that I was going to. And I actually have this, this is all my numbers and all my records from when I did that. And it was all very basic. It was pretty much just getting into lifting. I had never lifted before. I didn't know form, anything like that. And I was not very strong. As you can see, first week here, I squatted 85 pounds and I benched 65 pounds. So really started like bare minimum weight, really was not strong whatsoever going into this, but I really enjoyed it. I came to enjoy it a lot. And then by the end of the camp in, you know, August, the camp was over and I thought, I want to keep doing this. I want to be able to keep, because I enjoyed it. So then what I did is I actually went on Craigslist and I bought myself some old used weights. So this here is the Swole Space, as I called it back in the day. That bike over there is not part of it, but most of the stuff here I bought old, rusty, and used off of Craigslist for about $100. We have the bench here, we have that bar, those old rusty plates, 2 adjustable dumbbells, and that easy curl bar. I actually made this rack here myself, but it ended up being a couple inches too high, so I never actually really used it. But this is a space, this is where it all started. This is stuff that I used. It's rusty, it's nasty, it's kind of dangerous, it's old, but it got the job done. So that's where I trained. That's the equipment that I used for my first 2 years of high school, freshman, sophomore year. I trained in my basement using that rusty old equipment, probably training, you know, 5-6 days a week, starting to build that foundation. I actually have, like, my old, I used to write down all the workouts I did every day. Like, if you can see there, I would write down everything that I did, all the weights that I used. I even have this one where I put all my weights in it. Like, incline dumbbell bench, you can see he was using 35s, 40s, because I was really into it. I wanted to learn as much as I could. I spent so much time online figuring out form, how to make training programs. I have here too, just all kinds of different training programs that I wrote up for myself. And I used resources like, you know, bodybuilding.com, muscleandstrength.com, figuring out like how to make training programs, how to do things, because I wanted to do everything myself. And I spent so much time writing stuff out and getting into it. And I trained in my basement with those rusty old weights for the first couple of years, really building that foundation. But the progress is really not as great as it could be because I had no idea what I was doing nutrition-wise until towards the end of 10th graders, which is when I started tracking my macros and tracking calories and learning how to eat right, and, you know, protein, fats, and carbs, doing things the way I should have been. And then finally the summer after my sophomore year, I got my first gym membership. So I started training that summer at what was then Gold's Gym, and I trained, you know, 6-7 days a week. And then into the fall, going into my junior year of high school, I started doing 2-a-days for the first time, which was, you know, eating 4,000 plus calories, training 5 or 6 days a week in the morning and in the afternoon, and I made some ridiculous gains. I put on like 15 to 20 pounds in the course of, you know, 1 or 2 months to start my junior year of high school. Probably the most gains I've ever made in like a stretch of time lifting. And also around that time is when I started making YouTube videos. I was in the gym one day and there weren't many people there, and I thought, you know, I'm gonna set up my phone over here and I'm gonna start recording myself, and I put it up online, and that's where it started from. I got good feedback from the first video or two, and I just rolled with it, and here we are now. And then after I finished doing those 2-a-days for, you know, about 2 months, I think, in the fall of 2015, then I started my first cut, which, you know, I didn't really know a whole lot what I was doing, but I figured, you know, decrease your calories, do a little cardio, and I lost, I can't remember how much, maybe 15 pounds, got somewhat leaner into the winter and the start of 2016. I think the weight that I got down to, I think I went from 185 down to about 169, 168, something like that. Wasn't crazy lean, but you know, I thought at the time that I was shredded. Then moving forward from there, I started getting into baseball season my junior year of high school, and that took up a lot more of my time, and I kind of fell away from lifting as much. I didn't have as much energy, as much time to put into it. I had kind of like a training break where I wasn't as serious and into it for the spring of 2016. And then coming off of that, from the end of baseball season is when I started doing my Beast Camp series that I did on this channel for the summer of 2016. So that was training like 6 to 7 days a week, lifting wise, and then also doing, you know, athletic speed and agility stuff, bodyweight stuff, 4 or 5 days a week on top of that. So the mix of conditioning and heavy training, like every day throughout the week, I had some serious progress over the course of that summer, and I stayed pretty lean. I stayed in really good shape that summer. But then towards the end of the summer, I stopped doing the Beast Camp workouts, and I started doing 2-a-days again. So for the last, you know, month of summer, August, September, I started doing 2-a-days again, doing the same thing, 4,000 plus calories, training twice a day, and I again made some pretty serious gains every time that I've done 2-a-days. And not just muscle gains, but strength gains too during that time. During that stretch of 2-a-days, I managed to hit a 275 bench, a 475 deadlift, and a 405 squat, which was crazy. It is still my top squat because I've had like nagging hip problems since then, but put on a lot of strength during that time. And then from there, in the month of October of 2016, I did a 25-day mini cut because I knew that on my birthday, which was at the end of October, I was going to try to do the 15,000 calorie challenge. So for 25 days, I did like a mini cut where I think I lost around 10 or so pounds, and documented that. I got pretty lean down to, I think, around a little under 170, which is where I was on the last cut that I did. But with all the muscle I'd put on since, I'm looking a lot better at that weight. And then moving forward from there, I did another cycle of 2-a-days in the winter of 2016-2017, but then at the end of January, I managed to actually overtrain. I was doing deadlifts and I pushed myself too hard, and I just got really sick, and I was out of the gym like aching for about a month, and that stretch of time I lost probably, you know, 15 pounds, was out of the gym, and that was a huge unexpected setback, which I had been planning to do 2-a-days for that month for like a 2-month stretch. But coming off of that, then in March of 2017 is when I started my senior shred diet. That was by far the most challenging lifting related thing that I've ever done, the most challenging process I've ever been through physically. Starting at around 188 pounds, going for about 12 weeks. I documented the whole thing in a series on my channel. It was crazy. I got absolutely shredded by the end of it, down to around 163 pounds. So I lost 25 pounds in the course of 12 weeks or like 80 something days. Just insane. I essentially went into almost starvation mode to get myself that lean, that shredded, which was, it looked amazing at the time. I loved that process because it was so challenging. But coming off of that, I kind of fell into some diet issues where I had kind of binge eating, and I had kind of just issues sticking to my diet and being consistent with things. So it kind of fell off over that summer. And then at the end of the summer, I started my freshman year of college. And over the course of going into college, I was kind of just lifting for the sake of lifting, and I didn't really have a goal, but nonetheless still made some decent gains. I got my deadlift up to 545 pounds. I finally hit a 315 bench, which were both very big, very cool milestones. And then winter break this past year, I decided to do this super intense mini cut to start going back into the next semester of college. So I lost 10 pounds in 10 days, which I documented in a video, which was very intense. Moving forward from there, I began my bulk. And that's what we've been doing for pretty much the majority of the course of this year so far. Eating in a surplus, training hard, pushing myself to put on some more size. And that brings us to where we are now. I can't believe that it's been 5 years. It's something that I fell in love with from the start, something that has really pushed me not only physically to grow, but to grow mentally into a much more confident person, just overall more driven to chase after goals, pursue things, push myself to places that I've never been before, and just overall take what you do in the gym and become a better person, to push yourself towards every goal that you have with more confidence, with more ambition. And I think it's safe to say that 5 years in, I am not stopping now. This is just the beginning. It's a lifelong pursuit of fitness. It's something that I've absolutely come to enjoy, to appreciate, and something that will stick with me for the rest of my life. And anyone can do it. You don't have to be some kind of special person. You don't have to be specially gifted to work hard, go into the gym, push yourself to these kind of things. Fitness is not a specially selected sport. You don't have to be gifted to get in shape. It's something that anyone can do, and I hope that me sharing my story will influence, impact, inspire someone out there to push yourself to where you can be, and push yourself to be a better version of yourself, because that's what it's all about. Every day saying I can be something better than I am now, and I'm gonna work towards that.